is as opposed to moral relativism as I am, and I don't think I'm out of line for speaking for him because it's clear in the book. But let me just hit this one point real quick, and that is this constant raising of the is-ought problem. I'll concede that it may be the case that you can't get from an is to an ought, but you can certainly get from two ises to an ought, and that's the situation that I think we have when we're talking about morality. This is the situation I'm in. This is the beneficial goal. This is what I ought to do.
Yeah, the problem with that is that you've switched from means-in reasoning to moral, or you've conflated means-in reasoning with moral reasoning. And following Kant's terminology on this, that there's a real difference between the conditional imperative versus the categorical imperative. And if we're going to try to reduce categorical imperatives or moral imperatives to conditional imperatives about means-ends reasoning, then perhaps if the morality is, some would say that the purpose of morality is to produce happiness, well, then this would suggest that the answer to the question or to the claim, one ought to be moral, then Richard Carrier would want to say, well, this should be expressed as an if-then clause. Well, then, if one wants to be happy, then one ought to do things that are considered moral. But then, whether one wants to be happy or not is irrelevant to whether one ought to be moral or not. One has a categorical imperative to be moral, not just a conditional imperative to be moral. And that's my complaint about Sam Harris and Richard Carrier as well, is that they just have fundamentally misunderstood the nature of morality.
And I would point out, you're right, Harris denies consequentialism and then proceeds to explain and defend consequentialism, just showing that I don't think he understands
Actually, what I said was that
relativism.
Sam Harris opposes moral relativism. I didn't talk about his position on consequentialism.
Okay. He opposes relativism and then proceeds to deny any objective grounding for that to get from any combination of ises to an ought, because those reduce to description, whereas prescription is a different category. It's a category mistake. It's an oversimplification. And then, as Sloan pointed out, if you try to go from a hypothetical imperative, from a if you want this, if you want to be happy, then do this, that's consequentialism.
Okay, Sam's not here to defend himself.
Well, you're affirming his position, so I can...
Right.
I don't think I'm out of line for speaking for him because it's... Okay, Sam's not here to defend himself.
I told you, hey, come here.
Hey, were you jiggling like Jello?
Turn around here.